Hello and welcome. My name is Naomi Stonier and I am a life coach for marriage. And today, this afternoon, I am going to be teaching you the healthy habits that our parents didn't model for us that make married life a hell of a lot happier and healthier. Right, while people are joining, I'm going to give you a rundown of what to expect from today's training. Expect to be on for 60 to 90 minutes. There is a Q&A box. There is no chat box. I don't want you chatting. I want you concentrating on this highly valuable information. But there is a Q&A box, and I want you to get all your questions in that Q&A box. It is completely private. Only I will see these questions. And if you want to, you can ask that question anonymously. I really want to make this a safe space for you to get all your questions answered. I understand marriage is a private matter. So I want to make it safe for you to ask those questions that maybe you don't want to ask anywhere. You can ask them here. Only I will see your questions, and I want to make sure you leave this webinar with some answers today. So I'm going to answer all those questions at the end. And I know there are people on here who want to find out more about how I work, how I would help you. So I'll also be sharing details on my program. Now, first of all, before we get started, I'm going to share a little bit about me and how I came to be doing this work. So I trained at the Tony Robbins Coach Training School, but most importantly, this is a path I have walked myself. I had all the bad habits, all the generational bad habits that I took with me from childhood into adulthood. This stuff not only caused a problem in my marriage, but it also made my work difficult. It made friendships difficult. Life was just plain old tiring and difficult. So these habits, these very habits that I'm going to share with you today, these habits taught me how to create awareness of my generational bad habits, of all those emotional patterns that I was running. These habits taught me how to create awareness of this stuff. And then I was able to start questioning it. Do I like this? Is this serving me or not? When we question, we create choice. How do you want to react and respond? You know, what choices and decisions do you want to make? These habits will gift you this ability. Okay. So I learned these habits. I used them myself. And I led the way integrating them into family life for the benefit of everybody. This work changed my self-concept. This work changed it gave me a lot of confidence. It changed what I believed was possible for me, what I was capable of, what was available for me. So I believe so deeply in these skills that now I do this for a job, and I've walked hundreds of people down this path. I've helped hundreds of people learn these skills for the benefit of themselves and lead the way integrating them into family life, creating a new legacy for the next generation. Okay, and I'm going to share these skills with you right now. So here we go. So there's always the moment. And where is it? Oh. Okay, let's have a look. Here we are. Let's move that. Okay, here we are. Healthy habits for marriage. Now, the first place that we must start is understanding why we don't do this stuff. So we have to understand this is simple stuff, and we have to normalize and understand why we don't do it, okay? And there are two reasons why you don't do it. And that is the bad habits. They get passed down the generations forever. Okay, this is, no one's to blame. No one teaches us this stuff. Yeah, we have to normalize why we don't know this stuff, and why we don't, and when we do know it, why we don't use it, because we have a lot of thoughts and feelings about that. Okay, so the marriage is the relationship that most closely resembles the parent-child relationship. The parent-child relationship is one of dependency. Okay, there's trust in a parent-child relationship. We depend on our parents. Okay, and if you think about marriage, if you think about a long-term relationship, whether you're married or not, where we intertwine our lives, we intertwine finances, we have children together, there is also dependency in your marriage. So it's a trigger. It's the place where all the generational bad habits show up. Okay, so normalizing this stuff just passes down the generations, normalizing that it all comes up in marriage. Okay, and you're probably quite good at seeing where your partner's generational bad habits are showing up, because it's easier to see another person's patterns. It's much harder to see your own. So you can see their parents, you can see what they do, and you can go, oh yeah, I can see where they got that from. But can you see your own stuff? Okay, these habits are going to bring you into awareness of your own stuff. It's, this is called being human. You can't see your own stuff, easier to see other people's. It's going to bring you into awareness of your own patterns, where this stuff's showing up. And so you can question it, you can create choice. Now, the other key issue here is that crazy human brain in your head. Okay, you have a brain in your head designed to keep you alive in the wild. Really, the scientists have checked this. Your brain's about 40,000 years old. Okay, it is not designed for the modern world. It is constantly overwhelmed and confused by the modern world. And when you do the simple work of understanding how that shows up in our intimate relationships, it's going to be a game changer for you in normalizing all the crazy, silly stuff we do. Those reactions that you have, what you think and feel in the moment feels so true. And the next day when, you've had a night's sleep, it's, oh no, that isn't how I felt. When we normalize that this is happening to all of us. The human experience is a messy one, people. So this is how we can get a lot kinder and more compassionate first to ourselves. It's very important that you are compassionate and kind with yourself first, and then you can show it to everybody else. So this is the key first step. You got to normalize this. You've got to normalize why we find marriage and family complicated and difficult. Nothing has gone wrong. So we can lower the stakes on this. Okay, so I'm going to share with you now 5 habits that are going to help you do just this. Normalize this, because when you normalize this, it's the quickest way back to rational thinking. Okay, when we lower the stakes of this, it's the quickest way back to rational thinking. When emotion is high, intelligence is low. It's called being human. Okay, right, here are the habits. Habit number 1, commit to believing other people can't create your emotions. Okay, the other way I like to talk about these habits is I like to talk about them as facts. In a crazy, busy, complicated world, I want you to just hang on to these facts, okay? Because we get lost. The human brain gets lost in the story. It gets lost in predicting the future. So now, it is a fact that other people can't create your emotions, okay? The circumstance is neutral. Somebody saying something it's a neutral circumstance. And then you create the meaning, and that determines how you feel. So on the simplest level, someone tells a joke. I laugh and you don't, okay? Other people can't create your emotions. Now, this is not about being the Dalai Lama. Okay, this is not about never experiencing a difficult emotion. Of course, you're going to experience them all the time. But when you commit to believing this, other people can't create your emotions. It gives you the ability to ask habit two, to use habit two. Why am I finding this difficult? The questions you ask are everything. Ask the wrong question and you'll stay stuck. Ask the right question and it'll set you free. And this, after doing this work for many years of hundreds and hundreds of people, is the right question, because it gets you focused on the one thing you can control, yourself. Okay, so why am I finding this difficult? You might be filtering it through the past. You know, what are you making this mean about you, your spouse, your marriage? Okay, if you keep asking this question, you commit to asking it, it's going to give you some very valuable information. Habit number 3, this is just our programming. This is normal. You have to understand the blame game. Okay, it's very normal to try and work out who's to blame. Okay, so, but what you have to understand about this, okay, when we are scared, when we're under pressure, we get very black and white. It's a way of creating certainty. We have to figure it out. We have to decide who is to blame. Okay, but the reality is that blame doesn't, the right wrong debate, who is right and who is wrong, it's actually a matter of opinion. Okay, because my rules and values and beliefs that I've created, I've collected over time from all my experiences, it's an opinion. And what I think is the right and proper way of doing things doesn't match your opinion of the right and proper way of doing things. And in actual fact, it clashes. Okay, and that's where all the misunderstanding comes from. And so understanding that this is basically irrelevant, and it's also very distracting and tiring to constantly debate who's in the right and who's in the wrong. Okay, so that's a distraction. And when you're able to generalize, and when you're able to say nobody, this is your opinion, this is my opinion, obviously they don't match, how do you want to meet in the middle? You're going to be much more effective at communicating with each other, but also checking in with what you believe is right and proper. It feels like a fact to you. And when you communicate in facts, it'll be resisted. When you communicate your opinion in a fact, you'll get defense. Okay, so if you're what you're trying to communicate is being defended against and resisted against, the clue is you're doing this. Okay, so I will give you an example. You get home after a really long day at work and you say, this house is a bomb site. Okay, that's an opinion, it's not a fact. Okay, so one person's palace is another person's mess. Okay, and so when you communicate this house is a tip, this house is a mess, you'll get the debate. No, it's not, it's absolutely fine, why are you making such a fuss? Okay, then we'll get into the debate. No, look at the mess everywhere. Yeah, and then we get into a debate. It's a very simple shift, such a small shift, and it's the way we can sidestep an argument altogether. Hey, I've had a really long day at work. When I'm really tired, the way the house is becomes more important to me, and the house feels messy to me now, and because I'm already stressed out, it feels like a mess to me and it's stressing me out even more. Can you help me? Can you help me out? Can you help me tidy? It's important to me, this is how you can help me. When you talk like this, when you own your opinion, you'll get a very, very different response. Play around with it, give it a go. The other habit is to understand problem solving and why you problem solve and why you get you fixate on problems. This is our programming, okay? We are programmed to find problems and to fix them, yeah? And the problem with that is we get stuck on the problem, okay? You are programmed to think in worst case scenario and catastrophic thinking. Your brain loves to act like a crystal ball. It loves to decide, snap judgment in the moment, what is good and what is bad. But actually, we never know what turns out to be really good or really bad. You know, how many times have you thought something was awful and it turned out to be a good thing? Okay, so this is our programming, but it really affects how we navigate the stressful stuff in our relationships. So normalizing this, understanding it's normal to think the worst. It's normal to get stuck on the problem, but it affects your communication. You know, you understand the consequences are that it affects your communication and it affects your ability to find the solutions. So just normalizing these two things that we do. We get very black and white. We get very fixated on who's right and who's wrong. We have to let each other know, hey, this is not my fault. This is your fault. And you need to just accept and understand this is your fault, and then everything will be okay. Yeah, we're doing this in many subtle ways. And just understand it is very, very normal to search for problems. You know, when you are not okay, when you are under stress, it's very normal to look at your partner, this person you depend on, and ask, can this person cope? Yeah, this stuff can be very subtle. You don't realize you're doing it, but we're constantly testing each other in lots of micro ways. Can I depend on you? Will you always be there? Yeah, human beings need so much security. This is normal. This is our programming. This is why we find our intimate relationship difficult, because it's the place we need the most security. All right. And then the last need, learning to meet your own needs. It is human nature to expect your relationship to make you feel okay. It is human nature to look to your relationship to make you feel safe and secure, to make you feel happy and alive. But know this, when you are expecting this from your relationship, you put pressure on it, okay? So learning to meet your own needs will create so much confidence in you, and it will take your relationship to the next level, okay? So these simple questions will remember, it's all about the questions we ask. These simple questions will change everything. You know, I want you to think about when you're under pressure, when you're struggling, what is it? Asking this question, what is it I need to give myself right now to be okay? And how can I give that to myself? I love to help my clients reframe the notion of being selfish. Being selfish and looking after yourself is the kindest thing you can do for your family, because when you are okay, everyone is okay. When you are burnt out and frazzled and overwhelmed, you're no good to your family. So I teach my clients a concept called protect the asset. If you had a money machine in your house printing out money, how carefully would you look after it? Would you let it run out of ink? Would you let any of the parts break? No, you'd look after it with great care so it could keep pumping out that money. Yeah, I want you to see yourself as the asset. You know, protect the asset. You are the asset. Your family needs you. And then when it comes to your relationship, whatever it is that you feel is lacking in your relationship, I want you to think about ways you can give it, okay? So when you meet your own needs, when you know how to make yourself feel safe, when you know how to make yourself feel happy, you know, whatever it is you need, when you know how to make yourself feel at peace, how can you then go to your relationship to give it? So, and to give it without expectation. Yeah, no strings attached. You know, I'm going to show up and give you all my attention for 2 weeks. And then when I don't get the response I like, I'm going to give up. When you commit to playing all out, full out, giving whatever it is you want to receive without expectations, this will change you as a person in the best way. So ask yourself, spend a little time. What am I lacking in my relationship? And the way to get it is to give it. Okay. So now, pay attention, come back to me. If you're multitasking right now, if you're doing something else, I want you to just come back to me. And this is important information. Those are the habits. I want to give you some help on how you use these habits. So, life is busy, okay? I want you to see these habits as a guiding star, okay? I like to call the other thing I like to call these habits is facts. It is a fact other people can't create your emotions. It is a fact that the survival brain is focused on problem solving. It's a fact that we get very black and white. Yeah, I want you to. The quickest way back to rational thinking is the facts. So you know. This is not about being perfect. You're still going to lose it in the moment, but the quickest way back to rational thinking is to just remember these simple facts. And these habits are my guiding star. You know, I don't hit these habits every time, but I'm always aiming for them. Yeah, this is what I'm aiming for, because we get very confused in our relationships. We try this, we try that. That didn't work. What's the point? Give up, do nothing. I want you to just think about these habits as your guiding star. Because these habits will normalize. And when you normalize, when you lower the stakes of all the silly stuff we do in marriage, when you normalize that and you lower the stakes, it creates compassion. Okay, it creates more kindness and patience and understanding. Okay, this is the way, when you understand this is normal and this is the way, quick way back to rational thinking, this is how you sidestep the arguments. This is how you say sorry quickly and you just move on and get on with your day. Yeah, so that you have less fallout from this stuff. All right, so this is really important. If you take anything away from this training, it's this idea of this just being your guiding star. These 5 habits are super simple. Okay, they're just very simple. One out of all of them might resonate for you more than others. You know, for a long time, the one that resonated for me the most was other people can't create my emotions. Okay, I'm feeling very uncomfortable right now, but other people can't create my emotions. So what's happening to me? Why am I finding this difficult? Yeah. And then, you know, sometimes I need to go into the problem solving one. Okay, I'm trying to fix everything here. Why is that? You know, I'm really like just stuck on the problem. You know, how do I want to shift into solution creation? And I'm going to share with you how I do that with my clients. Okay, so these are the skills that these habits will create for you. Emotional awareness and regulation. When you're in awareness of what's happening to you instead of being in it, when you are aware of it, you can question, and that gives you the ability to pause in the moment and choose. Okay, so these habits will create emotional awareness and emotional regulation, so you can stay calm and keep talking and listening and getting to the simple solutions that are available when we're out of the drama. Yeah, you can communicate with confidence and kindness even when you're stressed. Okay, when we're stressed, when emotion is high, intelligence is low. You shut down, you stop listening, you stop hearing. It's when all the patterns come out. Okay, and these skills will help you get off the problem and into the solution, and to lighten this up and make this so we can lower the stakes when we normalize this and make it a bit more playful. I teach my clients a really simple process called the 3 Ps: playfulness, passion, and presence, okay? When we are playful with each other, when we're passionate about being the best person for each other, passionate for, you know, owning our side of the street, and when we're present, when we're not, you know, in the phone, too busy with the kids, you know, or like always in our work, when we give each other just that 2 minutes of presence, it's all it takes half the time, just that, you know, full on, I'm going to give you my attention. When you use the 3 Ps, you can address most problems, okay? So it's just lightening, normalizing this helps us all calm down, makes these habits a lot more available to you. Okay, so again, it's time for another check-in. Whatever you're doing, stop whatever you're doing, come back to me, because this is really, really important. I've given you 5 habits that create healthy marriage. I've done this work with hundreds of people. I have seen these habits change people's lives in the best way possible. Okay, so this stuff works. And if the only thing you do after this webinar is just take away this belief and this commitment to believe in these 5 habits, you'll create healthy marriage and healthy any relationship. Okay, but what I want you to understand is the 3 stages of belief. Yeah, our brains love to stay in the known familiar, and this is probability versus possibility thinking. Okay, so it's very normal for all the ways this won't work to come up for you. Okay, so I've presented these habits to you. Now you may be sitting there going, yeah, but this won't work for me. You know, my partner will never change, even if I do all of this. Yeah, whatever it is, I want you to understand that is the first stage. Yeah, believing this is impossible. It's the first stage of belief. And this is probability and possibility thinking. So we are programmed to think in probability. It's what's kept us alive in the wild. It's the way you don't eat those poison berries again, okay? You filter your choices and decisions through the past, through what has already been, okay? Now, the problem with that is when you do that, that's how you get the same results again and again and again, okay? So in order to create new results, you have to do something different. You have to shift into possibility thinking. So this is impossible is the first stage, and I'm going to help you with it now. It's the first step. So whatever has come up for you when I have suggested, what I put to you is for sure, guaranteed, you use these 5 habits on a regular basis, it's going to completely change the dynamic in your marriage, okay? What's coming up for you? I want you to welcome in all the doubts, all the reasons this might not work for you, okay? Because we want to see that. This is the way you bring the generational bad habits. This is the way you bring the emotional patterns up to the surface. This is the first stage. This is awareness, okay? And I want you to write a list of all the reasons you think you can't, and then take a look at what is in your control, and you can get started on that right now. So don't worry if you've got all these thoughts of, oh, this is never going to work. Welcome that in. Welcome it in. We want to see it. It is the first step. Okay. So the next step here is to understand. The next step in taking action is to understand what's possible if you do this work. When you get really clear on the results and what's available, it's a way it compels us into taking action. Okay, so if you're anything like I was back in the day, very good at describing the problem, but when you're asked what do you want, most of us are pretty well stumped, okay? So knowing what results are on offer creates the desire to take the action. And so these habits, using these habits on a regular basis, In the short term, you will feel better. Okay, the emotional awareness, the emotional regulation, you will feel better. When you've normalized all of this and you've stopped, you may not even realize you're doing it, but we worry, oh God, is there something wrong with us? They don't seem to have this problem. What's wrong with us? Whether you even push that down or whether you actively worry about it, when you normalize, you'll stop trying to fix everything. Yeah. When you understand this is just so normal, we're programmed to search for the problems, to fix the problems, to try and work out who's to blame and go round and round in circles around that. It's normal. You can just stop trying to fix it all. It feels a lot lighter and easier. When it feels a lot lighter and easier, when emotion is lower, intelligence is higher, you get more creative and resourceful in fixing it. So that's short term, that's immediate effects of using these habits. Long term, you're going to have great communication. You're going to have a strong partnership who has each other's back no matter what. You're going to experience an upgrade in your self-concept when you lead the way. Learning these skills will benefit you everywhere. And when you lead the way, integrating them into family life, when you stop the blame game and you stop all the monitoring and measuring we do and just commit to playing full out with these skills, it as an upgrade in your self-concept. These skills create immense confidence. And long-term legacy is felt for generations to come. Okay, the bad habits pass down the generations forever. It only takes one person to break the cycle and leave a new legacy for the next generation. And I promise you, this will shift your self-concept. It'll shift what you believe about yourself, what you're capable of, what's available to you. Yeah, it creates a lot of confidence, this work. So if you've got any questions, guys, get them in the Q&A. I'm going to keep going. And so there we go. That is the training. Okay, I really hope it was useful. So come back to me, guys. This is important. There's some more important information here. I want to urge you not to wait. I want to urge you to implement these skills right now. Okay, this work is available to you, and I want to make sure you implement it right now. So next we have the Q&A. But before we go to that Q&A, I am going to share with you how I help people integrate these skills into their relationships. Okay, so I have a step-by-step process called the Healthy Relationship Standards. Okay, now having a professional who has created these results multiple times, led people to these results multiple times, is the quickest way of getting these results. Okay, and how I help you is I have a step-by-step process to break down your experience in the moment. It is normal that we forget this work. It is, in this moment between us, it seems to make complete sense, but it is normal, so normal in the moment that you forget, that tone, that comment, that sigh. It's all it takes for just forget all of this and just launch into reaction. Okay, so I have a step-by-step process. My emotions protocol teaches you how to bring this training into the moment, how to remember in the moment, how to break it down in the moment. So I'll give you some examples. You might find yourself just snapping and going into reaction and shouting and screaming, and nothing gets solved, does it, when we're in that space? So my emotions protocol will help you break down that experience, nip it in the bud, so you can stay calm, so you can regulate your emotions and stay calm and keep communicating with each other so you can get to the solutions. Or maybe you're staying quiet, you're shutting down, you're not speaking up, okay? So this is you avoiding emotions. This is you avoiding difficult emotions. You know, our brain does not know the difference between real or imaginary danger. Our emotions are terrifying. So you're going to stay quiet. You're not going to speak up and speak your mind, because then you might have to have a difficult conversation, or it might turn into an argument. They might get upset, okay? I will teach you, my emotions protocol teaches you how to be okay with uncomfortable emotions, that have uncomfortable emotions in your body and still be able to take action. Yeah. My emotions protocol teaches you how to feel safe in the moment, so you can speak up, you can speak your mind, you can have those honest conversations that are required to have a healthy relationship long term. So my beliefs protocol is, we are sponges soaking in our environment, okay? So what this is about is you have all these experiences. You create a system of beliefs from these experiences. It's kind of like the operating system on your computer. It's determining all your choices and decisions. But the most amazing thing about it is you're entirely unaware of most of this operating system, okay? So my beliefs protocol is about bringing your operating manual into awareness and checking that it's working for you. So I'll give you an example. You know, a lot of this stuff, most of this stuff we learned way before we got into our marriages, okay? So it's as simple as, I really want you to think about simple things such as, I can't do maths, I'm no good with numbers, I can't dance, yeah? You know, this feels like a fact. But really it's just a thought. You decided this somewhere down the line. You made this decision about yourself and you just keep it, you turn it into a fact in your life. I'll give you an example of a client of mine who came into coaching saying, I have to keep going. You know, this is really common in coaching. When I coach people on their relationships, they come into the coaching resentful and upset. They're doing everything, yeah? And my client last week said, I just have to keep going. I have no choice. I have to keep everything going. And I challenged her on this. I said, where did you learn this? And this is something, she was very clear, this was something she'd been doing since childhood. And so I help her understand how that belief, I just have to keep going, is playing out in your relationship, okay? Because when you believe this about your stuff, you just keep going, you just keep doing everything, you assume responsibility. And it's very normal for you to think, well, if my partner did more, if my partner stepped up, I wouldn't have to do all of this. No, this is a generational bad habit. This is a pattern that you had before you got into marriage, and being in awareness of it and seeing how it's determining your choices and decisions is a key to getting your partner on board and creating that strong partnership alignment, okay? When you understand this part of your operating system is not serving you and it's acting as a barrier to creating partnership. And my solutions protocol, this is, you know, again, normalizing things. We are programmed, yeah, to just be in the day-to-day grind. This is survival brain thinking. You are programmed to just be in day-to-day survival mode, just going from problem to problem to problem. And my solutions protocol is a step-by-step process for getting out of this way of thinking. It's about getting out of the short term. We're sucked into just the day-to-day drama of life, and it's a way of stepping out of that and thinking long term. You learn the ability to decide in the moment, you know, how do I want to react? Is this in alignment with my long-term goal of a happy marriage? Okay, this is a step-by-step protocol for being able to process your uncomfortable emotions before you respond or react. It will radically change and improve your choices and decisions that you make, because you're making them for the long term instead of just reacting moment to moment to moment. And all of these protocols will completely and utterly change the way that you communicate, and they will teach you productive conversation. You know, when you are able, these 3 protocols enable you to normalize, you know, this experience that we have, you know, what you're thinking and feeling, what your partner's thinking and feeling, and then you can generalize it. Okay, so I'll give you an example of this. I have clients who, you know, under pressure, we all go to a certain place, and under pressure, it's very normal to have a problem with the way each other copes with stress. So I'll give you an example of this. My clients are under pressure at the moment. My client who I'm coaching with, she loves to, under pressure, when difficult times happen, you know, they're having financial problems in the business, she likes to plan, she likes to take action. Her partner, on the other hand, likes to wait, likes to consider, likes space to make a decision. Okay, and so previously what they would do is they would debate which was the right way to approach pressure. Yeah, and it's irrelevant. Whose is the right way is a matter of opinion. It's completely irrelevant. So just working with my clients, I taught her to generalize, to neutralize, to normalize the conversation. And that looks like this. When I'm under pressure, I go here. I love spreadsheets. I love planning. When you're under pressure, you like to save money. You like to make no decisions. Okay. And I understand my way of doing it isn't nice for you, because your way is the complete opposite. And your way of doing it is really frustrating for me. I want to spend money to fix the problem. You want to save money to fix the problem. Okay. So when you don't have a debate about which way is the right way, and you know, just normalize, I find your way of doing it really difficult, you generalize it, your conversations will be so much more productive. You will argue so much less. You will be so much kinder to each other when you work like this, when you use emotions, when you understand your emotional patterns, you understand your generational bad habits. That's my belief protocol. And you learn to be solution focused. It will completely and utterly transform the way you communicate. So keep getting your questions in there. I can see your questions coming in. Keep getting your questions in there. I'm going to come to them. Just one last thing before we get to Q&A. I want to just talk to you about the benefits of leading the way. Okay. You know, the benefit of leading the way, working on your marriage on an individual basis, is that you can get started right now. So whatever you're doing, guys, come back to me. This bit's really important. I really want to talk to you about why you would work on your marriage on an individual basis. Okay. People waste a lot of time discussing and debating whether they should go to couples therapy. Okay. One person wants to go, the other person doesn't. You have a big debate about what exactly the issues are. You don't agree what the issues are. Okay. And so that we waste a lot of time with that. We delay a lot of time. It means that we either never get to couples therapy, or it means you only go when you're on the brink of divorce. Okay. The other place we go is we avoid having the conversation altogether. If you think couples therapy is the only solution, it might be too difficult to bring up, too scary to bring up. You want to, you keep meaning to, but you never do. So you don't even have the conversation. So the benefit of these habits of this program that I have is you can get started right now. Just one person working on themselves will change. When you change yourself, your relationship will change. Okay. Just one person using these habits completely change the dynamic in your relationship. Okay. So you can get started right now. There's no reason not to. Okay. And why would you want to get started right now with doing this work on your own? And that is to understand the benefit to you. These are life skills that you will use everywhere. These skills will change your self-concept in the best way. When you lead the way, you will experience a shift in self-concept, okay, in the best way. What you believe is possible for you, what you believe is available for you, what you believe you're capable of will shift in the best way. When you learn these skills, you use them for yourself, you lead the way. The way you lead the way for the rest of the family is you just use the skills yourself. Yeah, that's it. That's all that's required to lead the way, is you just think this way, use this language, operate in this way. And your loved ones are your mirrors. They will all shift and respond. And the benefit of leading the way is you get to leave a healthier legacy for the next generation. This is self-concept work, you know, when you are that one person who says, hey, I'm going to do something different here. It changes you in the best way. So if you are interested in doing this work, type your name. If you're ready to get going right now in this, to do this work, type your name in the Q&A. Only I will see your name. Type your name and your email address, and I will get in touch with you. We will book your first session, and on your first session, we'll discuss payment, we'll discuss scheduling, all the logistics, okay? We'll just get started right now on your first session, okay? If you're ready for that, type your name in the Q&A now. Now, if you still got a few questions, if you want to have more of a discussion about it, type consult into the Q&A. I offer a free consultation session. I will spend 1 hour with you discussing your particular set of circumstances. I will take everything we've talked about in this session and I will apply it to your specific set of circumstances, okay? So I'll spend 1 hour with you. We'll take a look at where exactly you are now in your marriage, where you want to be, and how working with me will bridge the gap between the two. So if you're ready to get going, just put your name and email address in the Q&A right now. If you need to have a bit more of a discussion about it, then type your name and email address and consult in the Q&A right now, and I will get in touch with you after the training and get booked in with you, okay? So that is me. That is everything I do. I hope that was really helpful for you. And now let's get your questions answered. Okay. Right, let's just have a look here. All right, so let's get the Q&A. Right, okay, let's have a little look. Okay, right, I'm really happy this was resonating for you guys. Thank you so much for that feedback. Yeah, oh, brilliant. Okay, I'm not going to read out any names, but yeah, I can see you're really getting some answers from this, and that is just so lovely for me. Okay, I've got a question here. My husband and I are not aligned. He never wants to do anything with me. Okay, this is a great question. This is so common, okay? And so what I want you to think about, because it's very normal, we're very good at understanding the problem. We're programmed to do this, okay? But what I want you to think about is, what does that actually mean, okay, in literal terms, okay? So it's very normal. I want you to take a moment and think about, when will you be aligned? When will you know you're aligned? Okay, I want you to think about that. What does that actually look like in real life, day to day? Okay, so what I'm going to guide you here, it's very normal when we talk about this stuff, you're not feeling connected to your partner, you don't feel in alignment, you don't feel like you want the same things. When will you feel like that? What does your relationship need to look like? What exactly would your partner need to do? Now, it's very normal that you're talking emotions. and that you're talking metaphors, okay? Like, you know, I want to feel like we're walking side by side, that sort of thing. And I just want to counsel you, your partner won't have a clue what that means. You know, they won't understand or know what they've got to do. Okay. So I want you to get really specific. What are, you know, you'd like to do stuff together. What do you want to do together? Yeah. What exactly do you want to do together? And what I'll offer to you is this. If you want more of your partner's attention, become an expert in what they love. Okay. So I'll share with you my experience of this. I wanted more of my partner's attention, so I became an expert in MMA. Okay, cage fighting, mixed martial arts. Okay, so I did not imagine I would be an expert in mixed martial arts. I did not imagine, you know, that would be something I enjoyed. Okay, but my partner loved it, and you know, I did this work. And I got told, become an expert in what your partner loves. I said, okay, I'm going to become an expert in mixed martial art. And guess what? I found out I love it. I love it. It's more equality in the boardroom, in the cage, than there is in the boardroom. Women's fights get equal billing. It's incredible. And from a coaching point of view, a mindset. Oh my God, these people are warriors. So that came as a great surprise to me. Now I watch MMA with my husband. You know, I've gone into his world. I've become an expert in what he loves. And, you know, I get more attention from him. He's more willing to come and do the stuff I want to do. Yeah. So that's what I offer to you. What does it mean we're not in alignment? What is it you want? Yeah. How can you give this to yourself first? And then how can you go to give to him what it is you want? Okay. I hope that's helpful for you. Okay. You've been trying, okay, I got another comment here. You've been trying to get your partner to couples therapy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, exactly. I mean, for me personally, there was no way I was going to go to couples therapy. There was no way I was going to go and sit in a therapist office with my partner. That was deeply uncomfortable for me. I wanted to sort out my own stuff. Okay. I knew I had stuff I needed to sort out. And for me, that felt a lot easier to do on my own. Okay. I did not want to do that in a couple environment. So if you've been trying to get your partner to couples therapy and they won't go, get to work right now on your own. There's a lot you can do to change the dynamic in your relationship. Your partner doesn't have to do anything. My partner did not do anything. My partner's not going to do this work. You know, I'm a relationship coach. He is not interested in doing this kind of work, but I've modeled these skills and he has just automatically responded to me. Yeah. So it doesn't take two of you. Okay. So if your partner's not going to couples therapy, I would urge you to stop waiting. Sometimes it can be a bit of an excuse. Sometimes it can be like, well, I wanted to work on it. I tried, but they wouldn't go to couples therapy. You don't need to go. You can get started right now. Book a consult with me and I will help you. All right. Okay. Yeah. So how does neurodiversity impact this in one or both partners? Okay, I'd love to get a bit more detail on that. Can you give me an example of what you mean? So somebody has asked about neurodiversity. So if you give me an example, happy to help you on that. Okay. Okay, so if your partner is a narcissist, okay, what I will ask you is, has your partner been diagnosed with narcissism? Narcissism is a personality disorder and it is a diagnosis. So yeah, I would just check first of all, is this a formal diagnosis of narcissism? Okay, you got another one here. I want to do all of this, but it feels so hard. Okay. I get it. I get it. Yes, it feels so hard. Remember the stages of belief that we talked about. Okay. It's impossible is the first step. That you have a human brain in your head, and that brain is designed to keep you safe Okay, that's its only priority. And that means staying in the known familiar. Okay, even if it's no good for you, even if it harms you, it's what we know, and that is safe. Okay, so I just want to offer to you that it's very normal that it feels hard. Your brain's only job is to keep you safe and to conserve energy. Okay, our brains want a guarantee before they take any action, and you and I know there is no guarantees in life. Okay, so I just don't want you to make this a problem that it feels so hard. Okay, doing something new feels very dangerous. Okay, and just remember the stages of belief. It's impossible, it's too hard, I can't do it. It's the first stage. And why does it feel so hard? Okay, write a list. Why does it feel so hard? And take a look at that list. Is it true? Is everything on that list true? Is it a fact? I love to put this through the fact fiction formula with my clients. Is this a fact I could prove in a court of law? Okay, so, and then, what, is this true? Is this in my control? And just welcome it in. It feels so hard. This is a better place to be. Sitting here on this webinar with me saying it's too hard, I can't do it, is the first stage. Because you're considering this work. If you weren't on this webinar, you hadn't even taken the time to learn this information, that would be a worse place to be. Okay. So I've got a comment here on ADHD and autism. I am not trained in neurodiversity. I have got clients with ADHD and they find this work very helpful for them. But yeah, I mean, if you're autistic and you have a different communication style, give this work a go. What have you got to lose from trying this? Okay, it's like, you're still programmed to problem solve, you're still programmed to thinking right, wrong. I haven't worked with autism, but why not give it a go and see if it works for you? That's my answer to that one. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah. Oh, thanks for your kind words, guys. It's really nice to see it's helping you so much. Okay, my wife doesn't care. My wife says I don't care, and it's not true. Okay, this is interesting, isn't it? Because are you sure your wife's not on the call? That first question we had there seemed like the other side of that. Okay, so what I'll say to you is this: if she's saying to you, you don't care when you do care, what she is communicating you is that she does not feel seen or heard by you. Okay, so this is normal. This is very, very normal. And there is nothing wrong with you and there's nothing wrong with her. Okay, so, if you are thinking and feeling like, I do care, it's obvious I care, why is she making a fuss? If you're thinking like that, that's totally normal. You don't get it. Okay. And it's also totally normal that she thinks you don't care. Okay. So she wants your attention and she doesn't feel like she's got it. There's nothing wrong with either of you. This is a really, really common problem. And it's just about communication. Okay. It's the way you are communicating to her, she is not receiving it. So if you normalize this and you depersonalize it, this is very, very normal places for men and women to go to. You can get a bit more creative in the way that you're thinking. Okay. So what I would say to you is you can tell her you don't get it. Yeah, but it's okay to say that to her. Look, I'm sorry, I don't get it. I don't understand why you feel I don't care, but I want to understand and I need you to explain it to me, and please explain it to me. Yeah. And if you give her your presence and you don't try and fix this and you stop thinking, ugh, why is she making a fuss? Why does she have to make a fuss? Look, I do it, I'm here, aren't I? It's very normal for men. We bought a house together, we live together. I'm here every day. Why do you say I don't care? Yeah, it's because she doesn't feel seen and heard, and she's asking for your presence. Okay, so not making it a problem that you don't understand, and saying to her, please help me understand, help me explain. All right. And so, we assume that the other person should just know, and that's not the case. People are not mind readers. Okay, so it's interesting that we got sort of like the two sides of the coin there. We got a woman saying she didn't feel connected with her husband, and then on the same side we got a man saying, she says, I don't care, but I do. So, this is the misunderstanding. This is the miscommunication. And when we can normalize it, okay, we can lower the stakes, we can lower the emotion, we can make it a bit more lighter and playful, we can get a lot more creative and resourceful. So if you want to talk more with me, let's work together. Drop your messages in the chat and I will email you back, and let's get working together. Or if you need a bit more information, book a consult with me. Book that 1 hour call. I'll spend 60 minutes with you, taking a look at where you're at now, where you want to be, and how coaching with me will bridge the gap between the two. Okay, so we're just about finished. I hope that this has been helpful to you. If you want to work with me, drop your details in the chat. If you want to book that free consult with me, book your details in the chat, and I'll be getting in touch with you by email. So thank you so much for coming, everybody. I'm so happy that you found that helpful. And that's it. All right, guys, have a great evening. Bye-bye.